Episode 13, Avengers Infinity War Review.
Welcome to the Visionary Variety Podcast, where we cover all kinds of cool stuff like photo, video, film, books, and technology. So switch on your brain and enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of the Visionary Variety Podcast. Today, we are talking about the long-awaited movie Avengers Infinity War. So, I am Daniel Grove, one of the hosts of this show, and we've got with us Nate.
Hey guys, what's up?
And Angela.
Hey, people.
Hey people, what's up?
Hey, people. Were you homeschooled? Yeah.
We all were. Shut up.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Wait, Nate, were you homeschooled too?
A little bit, not a lot of it, but yeah.
Oh, awesome. We have all been homeschooled to some amount. That's great. That explains a lot right there.
Feelings are hurt now, but it's okay.
It's okay. Try not to cry.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, that was an introduction.
Yeah.
I might leave some of that in there.
That's fine.
We've all been homeschooled. Light bulb moment.
So today we're reviewing the long-awaited movie Avengers Infinity War, and it was amazing. Wow. My mind was blown.
Yes, completely and totally.
Brains everywhere.
All over the movie
Chunks.
theater.
Yeah, it was a big mess. The floor is already sticky enough, and now there's that. So,
Feel bad for the ushers.
sorry, on my way out. Hey guys, can you all clean up my brains over there? Yeah, it was awesome. So for this first part of this episode, we're gonna try and not spoil it. This is a spoiler-free movie review. I don't know how much we can say without spoiling this movie because it was just like so intense. But we'll do our best. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you should be safe for at least a few seconds after this point. And then we will give the warning. Okay, now we're going to be spoiling this thing. So there you go. There's your disclaimer. All right, guys. So let's start with a star rating review. How would you guys star this movie and why?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know. Maybe 3.5 out of 4.
What?
I think it's one of.
Wait, did you say out of
Yeah.
4? Don't you do out of 5 stars?
Well, in the movie
I'm so
reviews, they don't do
confused.
5 stars.
I'm
They do
just
4.
like,
Yeah.
The critics always did 4 whenever I would look at it in the paper. 4 stars is the highest.
That is so weird. I've always seen.
All
out of
right, you know
5.
what? I'm
Okay.
gonna do it. I don't know. Maybe can we just do it like on a 10 scale, 1 to 10 scale instead? Okay,
Sure.
it's fine since you guys are confused.
Daniel's like, out of 5, 3.5. Like, whoa.
Out of 29 stars, I give it a. Go ahead. Anyway, what's your reading, Angela?
Oh,
Try again.
This is a mess of an
I know.
episode.
You're gonna have fun editing this later. I think I would give it 4.5 out of 5 stars personally.
Yeah.
I think it's one of Marvel's best movies to date. I feel like it was an almost perfect movie. It came close to 5 stars. I think the only reason I would knock it down about half a star is like some of the CGI effects weren't so great. It's like for the villains, they just look a little hokey to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a couple jokes in there I feel like they dragged on a little too long. But I mean, overall, I very much appreciated the humor in this movie because
it was
I know,
great.
because I was a little bit worried at first when I was first going into it because Marvel's been a little hit or miss lately with the humor in their movies. Like they try maybe a little bit too hard because I recall feeling when I saw Avengers Age of Ultron that they kind of pushed the humor a little too hard. And then the same with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Thor Ragnarok for me. But they hit it pretty much on the mark with this one. And I laughed out loud so many times. So I was very pleased. And just seeing the character interactions, like the Guardians meeting up with some of the Avengers, it was completely hilarious. And Doctor Strange getting to meet everyone too. Well, not everyone,
Yeah,
but
that was
yeah,
awesome.
with Tony, that was pretty good interactions there.
Isn't it a weird moment in a movie like this and like in Star Wars when one of the main characters meets another main character that has been in the movies for like years? And you're like, how have they not met?
Right.
Oh yeah, they've never met.
Right, exactly.
It's weird. There's a few of those moments in this movie.
Yeah.
Nate, what about you?
Out of 5 stars, I probably would give it like a fraction away from 5. It was probably one of my favorite. But I don't know, like for those that have seen all of the films all the way back, starting with Iron Man 2008, each movie kind of has their own rating. So for this movie, yeah, it would be a pretty high 4, almost 5. There were a few things that I wish didn't happen, but it's more a personal, like they set up the story, so they have to.
Yeah, I think everyone feels the same.
Of course. And then without giving anything away, I guess why I didn't want to give it a 5-star is the ending.
All right, we can get to that later.
Yeah, of course.
For myself, it's hard. I want to give it a 5, but it's really hard for me to give anything a 5-star when it comes to movies. I mean, I'm guessing there are movies that I have given a 5-star, but I am so critical. As much as I just totally love and enjoy movies, it's weird. I'm also like ultra critical.
Yeah.
And I can always pick out little things. But yeah, I'll give it like a 4.8, 6 repeating fraction of a, I think I'm going to do with that. An irrational number there. Infinity, repeating into infinity. It was great. The story was super fresh and really just engaging. Even the villain, Thanos, like when you see moments of him experiencing things and he explains what he's doing and why, it's just like, wow, you can almost see his side of things. As bad as it is, you can understand how someone could come to that point. And that's a good villain.
Yeah,
that's a good story.
A good villain there.
And I mean, everything was just like perfectly intertwined. Like, man, they just pulled in so many loose strings and things like characters grouping together and scenes that made sense and action that made sense and struggles that made sense. I was like, wow, these guys are geniuses.
Yeah, for real.
How many board meetings did they have to do to make everything click so well? Years of meetings probably. And I was very impressed with that element of the story where it pulls in all the other stories and kind of sums up a lot of things. So, yeah, it's almost a 5-star for me. I'm hesitant to give anything a 5-star.
Yeah, same here.
But this is almost that. So, yeah, I really enjoyed watching it. It was just that awesome moment of finally seeing that one item in the movie that we don't know where it was.
Oh, yeah.
No spoilers. So it was great. Well, I don't think I can hold back the floodgates of spoilers any longer. So I think it's time to move on to the spoiler section. Spoilers. So the first thing let's talk about for this movie, let's talk about the characters. I feel like there was a lot of good character development in this movie. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. I mean, we saw a lot of people come to new places, whether some of them were dark places.
Yeah.
So with the Sokovia Accords, there's been a lot of bridges burned, like Cap, basically being an outcast now and operating illegally and underground. We see Ant-Man and Hawkeye also basically kind of having to agree to a retirement and being on house arrest. I think that's what they said in the movie, right?
Yeah, that was their explanation for why they're not in the movie.
Yeah, they've got some vibranium ankle GPS bands on them right now.
Probably.
Superhero friendly ankle bands.
Oh my gosh.
So they're not being heroes right now. They're just spending time with their family, which is cool. And Ant-Man's getting ready to do a movie with Wasp. They're on some adventure maybe. So a lot of character development. There are a lot of missing characters too. Well, obviously, other than Ant-Man and Hawkeye, Nick Fury was nowhere to be seen in the body of the movie, except for later. Adam Warlock, were you guys kind of anticipating him to show up, or you think he's more of a Guardians of the Galaxy surprise?
Well, honestly, I don't know much about Adam Warlock. I didn't really look into his character much until after I saw this movie. And I was reading, he was in the original Infinity Gauntlet comics. So I'm like, well, why wasn't he in this movie? Maybe he's going to be in the second one. But then I read up a little bit more and found out that I think they're planning on primarily introducing him in Guardians 3. So as much as it would be super cool if he was in the coming up Avengers movie, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, your theory makes sense because he was, his birth was in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and it makes sense to bring him up to tie up, make a cool, epic surprise in another Guardians of the Galaxy movie to keep their momentum going.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like he is such a big part of the stones and the overall big picture. I still kind of have a little bit of hope for him being one of the main heroes. Although now that's kind of diminishing because Captain Marvel is dropped, and that looks like she may be the savior of the day.
Yeah.
Somehow in conjunction with Thor and other people teaming up. So yeah, we'll see. It's just they keep us guessing. They're doing a good job.
Right. Yeah, they always keep people guessing.
So let's talk about Thanos as a character. What do you guys think of this supervillain?
I thought he was good. I'm glad he was good because after, I don't know, the first time we saw him would have been way back when. So we've kind of all been
back when he was purple.
Yeah,
he still is purple, just not as.
We've been anticipating him to show up and basically for him to come do something, and it's about time that he. I mean, it's kind of sad because he in the movie he takes out people that we actually like, and he is like destroying them, and I'm like, wait, like hold on, like because we've had 10 years to build like a. I don't know, like a movie relationship, and now you're just kind of walking through them like, you know, like nothing, and it's like, wow, like hold on. But I thought he did really good.
Yeah,
he's kind of loony, because you know he kills his own stepdaughter just to be able to get one of the soul stones. And so I was like, wow, like this dude, he's crazy. And I mean, like he's the only person he really couldn't really beat was. I mean, he did hurt him, but it was Thor. That was about it. But everything else, you know, he stabbed Tony. Yeah. He killed his daughter. He basically, Star-Lord messed
punched
it all
Captain
up.
America in the face.
Yeah. Like if Star-Lord would have just kept his cool, they probably would have won.
Oh my gosh. Star-Lord. That scene.
It made me cringe so hard.
You gotta be all human.
I mean, I'm assuming that event falls in the timeline that Doctor Strange saw where they actually win. So I guess... I don't know, whatever. It was still awful to watch.
Yeah, I enjoyed the depth that they gave to Thanos. And, you know, I feel like we're kind of past those years where villains just wanted to rule the world because, or they wanted to destroy everything because, and then the joke was always like, okay, once you rule the galaxy, how are you really going to rule a galaxy? Yeah. Or once you've destroyed the Earth, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
I think writers finally caught on to that after a few decades of that being a trope. And I like this new age of villains where you can almost sympathize with them on a certain level, if not completely, if they really write an interesting character, kind of like a Killmonger, you know, like you really see his point of view. But Thanos was really deep and really well written, and he's got this experience that he's drawing from his home planet on planet Titan, not to be confused with the moon Titan in our solar system, which really threw me for a loop when they were like, he's from Titan. I'm like, seriously? This ultra powerful guy is from a moon around Jupiter or Saturn, and he's from our solar system? And then, it's another planet named Titan. Oh, how convenient. So, you know, he had this experience where his race was about to be extinct, and because of their own, you know, kind of pulling up planet Earth where they use overpopulation, using up resources, whatever other issues that they have as an advanced civilization, they couldn't handle it. And of course his solution is, let's just kill every other person and everyone else will be happy.
Yeah.
That's a pretty heartless solution. I mean, can't they think of something else like off-world colonies or
most villains, even if they have like a sympathetic side to where you can kind of relate to their viewpoint, I mean, a lot of times it's still like a delusional viewpoint. Like his is because did he never think once he got the Infinity Gauntlet with all the stones that he could have just created new resources for these planets instead of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
I mean, that just shows how crazy he is.
Become all powerful so you can actually fix a problem instead of like killing people to fix a problem.
Exactly. But I mean, at least his motives in this movie were way better than what his motives were in the comics. Did you guys hear about what
No.
Okay, the reason he did all he did in the original story was that he wanted to win the affection of a lady.
Oh yeah. Death.
Yeah. Mistress Death.
Yeah. He's basically a third grader with a crush.
I know. So I'm like,
unrequited love.
Thank God they didn't go with that plot because that's just terrible.
Yeah. I thought they were up till this movie. I was surprised to not see death. I'm glad you brought that up because that might have slipped my memory. But when Ragnarok came out and the trailers were just came out, we see Hela, and Hela looks kind of like what I've seen Death as shown as far as comic art. I'm thinking, oh snap, Death's coming into the picture. We're gonna have Thanos chasing after her and trying to do stuff for her. Then I saw Ragnarok. I'm like, whoa, that's not what I expected.
Right.
Thought that was Death. Nope. And yeah, so that was an interesting twist. I guess they made it a little more logical. I was kind of hoping they'd make it real mystical and that he would have like this weird, just screwed up like love relationship with this non-being person, but they didn't do that. So maybe a good decision.
Yeah, I like how he took, I'm going to kill everybody, and it's mercy. It's what they want. They're not in pain. Like when he was talking to Gamora, he's like, you killed everybody. He's like, yeah, but like, they'll never hunger again. They're in a better place. I'm like, wow, you're like, whoa.
But are they though?
You know what's weird is he says it's weird is that he says he kills like half the population, but what about all the event, like once half the population just disappears, and then like on Earth they show, in the post-credit scenes, cars just like crashing into the sidewalks.
How's that gonna make
and stuff because the
civilization
drivers
better?
Disappear.
Yeah.
I
You're
know.
unstabilizing galactic civilizations. Like, how is that going to be great in the long run? That might take hundreds of years to recover from, if that. So, not a foolproof plan.
That's why I'm like,
But that ending was just a lot.
It was a lot to take in. Yeah.
Like, I was kind of okay until Spider-Man died.
He was so sad. It was so heartbreaking. Help me, Mr. Stark.
That one was... Is maybe because he's young, maybe it's because everyone loves Spider-Man.
Or his Spidey sense is like going
died.
crazy that he's like in life-threatening danger and there's nothing he can do about it. And I'm sure that's awful feeling.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Oh. And then the movie just ends on a scene with Thanos looking pleased. Oh my god.
Somewhere. Yeah, it didn't look like his homeworld.
Yeah.
But...
Well, his homeworld was destroyed basically, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So,
Titan was like desolate, probably because of him. But
he set up a farm somewhere else, I guess. I don't know. And he's like, what a job well done.
Vacation home.
Yeah. I saw someone say that this was actually more like Thanos' movie rather than the Avengers. If you think of him being like the main character, he got like the happy ending in the end and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh.
He did.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is more of a Thanos movies and the Avengers play a role in it.
That's funny. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, he gets like most of the main character development and everything. It's like...
He sure did.
It's messed up.
Yeah. The story of this movie was, kind of complex in some ways because of a lot of little side quests and things kind of tying all together. But overall, it is really pretty simple. He's just trying to get all the stones, do what he wants to do, and then, wait for the galaxy to tell him things.
Right.
Which they never would, because everyone's loved ones died. So doesn't end well for him being a ruler of any kind.
Yeah.
So Doctor Strange, he looked in the future. He saw whatever, like 14 million
I think is what he said.
14 million,
and only one of them, all of those, only one of them they won. And I'm like, good lord.
Yeah. So do you guys think that the one way out, the successful ending that he did see, do you think that we're currently in that timeline because of what Strange did?
I think so. I mean, he sacrificed the time stone only because he saw that that's what happened in the version that they won.
Well, that's what could be happening, but you're kind of led on to believe that he's giving the time stone just to save Tony, which he is, and it does happen. I don't think so,
because before he was all like really bent on like I will protect this stone no matter what, and
not giving it,
regardless of whose life is in danger. He said after he gives the stone up, he basically says to Tony, "I had to do it." So
but it was probably done. He did it. He passed it off as a promise to Thanos. If you don't kill Tony, then I'll give you the stone. But really, behind it, you're right. I think it has to do with his vision. That was the only way through that point of the story to get to a good ending. It's like a bunch of people have to die now in order for us to save anybody later.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So Nate, you have any wacky theories about that? What do you think about that part of the story?
I don't know. He says a couple times where he said it was the only way. And he's like, "What are you doing?" Like, he's sorry, that's the only way. He just says that a lot. He's like, "We're in the end games. That was the only way. That's the only." And so, and then part of me wants to think like maybe it is the real stone. Maybe in one of those 14 million, he figured out how to make a fake.
There's no way.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He doesn't have
Cool
the power
idea,
to create a time stone.
Never
Yeah.
know.
But it actually worked. I don't think Doctor Strange has that ability.
Yeah, he did rewind time though.
Yeah, that blew me like away when Thanos was totally cool that Vision got blown up, and he said, "It's okay, my daughter or lady or whatever he called the girl." He says, "Because we don't have time to mourn," and then I was like, "Oh crap!" He just has the time stone, and he's just gonna reverse it. I was like, "Oh damn!"
Oh man, that was so gut wrenching when he rewound time for Vision.
I know. I'm like, I don't know
like,
how.
no.
I know. I feel like I should have seen that coming because then we saw he got the time stone, but I'm like, I didn't, and it surprised me for some reason.
I didn't see it coming. I think I heard like a collective gasp in the theater when that happened. It was intense. And then when he grabbed the stone out of his Vision's head, man, he just like pinches half of his brain out. Crunch. Little lobotomy there.
I'm just surprised that Vision did not. I guess he was too focused in love when they were in Scotland, and then he got stabbed, and his suit wasn't able to all the way form.
That scared the heck out of me.
I'm surprised he didn't sense it like he has sensed other stuff in other movies.
Well, he said their blade had something about it that didn't allow him to phase. He said the blade wouldn't let him phase.
I know, but just the presence of somebody else coming to him, I'm just surprised he
true.
Joking aside, he is Jarvis, and Jarvis was pretty aware of his surroundings. And if Jarvis is mixed in there, and then Vision, and then Ultron, and then Robert, and Bruce, all the DNAs, you would have thought, before he got stabbed, he would have been aware of somebody coming towards him.
He was too focused on being all romantic with Wanda. I know.
Little human girlfriend.
I know.
Cute.
We got all distracted.
Man, those humans just ruin everything, don't they?
Yeah. Yes, they do.
So let's talk about the themes in this movie. So there are some super heavy themes that are so good, and I really love how they address them. Mm-hmm. And one of the big themes that I picked up on was sacrifice.
That was the main one I picked up on too. They repeated that over
in your
and
face,
over,
but in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found there's three different instances where someone has to die.
Exactly. I was thinking that after I saw the movie, I'm like, geez, they pull that a lot.
There's no other way around a bunch of these plots, huh? Yeah. People got to die. So the first one was Gamora makes Peter Quill promise that he will kill her if it comes to, Thanos extracting the knowledge from her of the stone. So that's the first one. Yeah. Peter has to kill Gamora, and then his gun turns into a bubble gun. It was so awesome.
Oh my gosh. Thanos likes bubbles a lot, apparently.
He does. He loves the bubble. He's got a soft side,
A little bit.
Likes little girls.
And back to the third grade mindset.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the third grader. And then Wanda has to kill Vision, which that was intense.
Yeah. It's so sad.
And I have a slight problem with that. We'll talk about it in a minute. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Thanos has to kill half the galaxy to ensure a nice, plush quality of life for everybody else.
Yeah. Not to mention, he killed Gamora to get the Soul Stone.
Oh, yes, that's the other one.
He killed her. For a soul.
And there was another instance, actually, in the very beginning of the movie when Thanos was holding Thor by his head, and he says to Loki, give me the Tesseract, or I will cut off his head, basically. Good Lord, they
killing
pulled
everybody.
That so many times. Yeah.
In Infinity Wars is more like Infinity Kills.
Yeah. Speaking of Thanos having to kill his daughter, was anybody else surprised to see Red Skull?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was whoa. Where did he come from?
I was like, whoa.
How did he get there?
Yes, that was my biggest surprise.
I was curious about that, so I looked it up, and sure enough, when Red Skull quote unquote dies, he doesn't really die in the was it a Winter Soldier or was it Captain America?
He was in the first Captain America.
First one. So when Red Skull, what happens to him is he grabs the Tesseract and he gets teleported out into space.
Yeah,
and the Tesseract stays. So there you go. He went into space, and that was in the 40s, like 1946 or 42. And stuff's happened. He's seen things. Now he's on Volmir.
Just hanging out, guarding that Soul Stone for the rest of his life.
And he's had a nice little life-changing experience. He's like all nice now. He's not all evil and
Hello, Mr. Anderson.
Less and more. You need wisdom.
The same guy from The Matrix, right?
Yeah. Wait.
No.
Actually, somebody different.
Yep, they couldn't get him back in the movie. He said he would never play that role again. I don't know if he had a bad experience, but
that's
they had
sad.
to get somebody else. I thought they did a good job.
They got Ross Marquand, who is Aaron on The Walking Dead, and he also does like a bunch of amazing impressions of celebrities. So he did a good job.
Yeah, someone said that. They're like, he's really good at impersonation, so it makes sense.
Yeah. He played him.
With that face makeup on, anyone could play them. Almost,
but he had the voice down
It's
and I
like-
guess the mannerisms too. So I wouldn't have guessed at
Yeah.
first. I thought it was Hugo Weaving. And then I found out afterwards it wasn't. I'm like, really? Wow.
I love Hugo Weaving.
Me too.
I want to watch all the movies with him in it. He's underappreciated. So my issue with Wanda killing Vision was, is she powerful enough to destroy a freaking Infinity Stone?
Apparently.
Like, when they explained that that's how it would have to happen, Vision's like, I've been thinking a lot about this thing in my head. He's like, the only way to destroy it is to use a power source equal to the stone to destroy it. I'm thinking, okay, it has to be another, maybe the Power Stone itself is a stone. It's powerful, equal to the Soul Stone. You got to use an Infinity Stone to kill an Infinity Stone. No, she uses her magic.
Yep.
I don't know. It just seemed a little out of balance.
Kind of. I mean, she does take forever to do it. Like, she
Yeah.
focused her powers on him
and
like a long time, but still.
Yeah. And she is kind of touted as one of the more like underrated but ultra powerful characters.
Yeah, she's super fun to watch in any fight she's in. She's just so OP.
Yeah, she's cool. So that was that kind of struck me as weird, but I'll let it go.
Whatever.
It made for a dramatic scene. You got to kill your loved one again, just like the other time.
She's had it rough.
It's like when it comes down to it, stories these days, especially heroes movies, have become just so intense with their stories and their drama.
Yeah.
And what is the ultimate form of drama? It's someone dying or you having to kill someone. Like, it's like they don't have another gear to go to. They've gone to the highest gear, which is this, and now they're having to use it a lot.
I mean, in some way, I can kind of get it because when all these crazy events are happening, you would think that if everyone survived, that is just so unrealistic when all this crazy stuff is happening. But yeah, they do. Yeah. They do rely on that an awful lot nowadays. I don't know whether that's a pro or a con in my book.
Joss Whedon started it. He liked to kill off his favorite characters and make all the fans hate him. Now Marvel does it. No one complains.
Yeah, he didn't even do this movie, and like half the people died, so that wasn't even his fault.
Joss Whedon, where were you? Were you hiding in the writing room somewhere? So the themes of sacrifice. So here's something interesting that I found about this theme is the good guys offer themselves to die for the betterment of everybody, right? Like Gamora is like, kill me, so that he won't get the stone. Vision's like, kill me so he can't get my stone.
Yeah.
But what does Thanos do? He demands that others die for his benefit and for everyone else's too. So I just thought that was a really cool kind of a polar opposite where evil demands great things of other people to their own benefit, but true good, and righteousness is like, I will give of myself, like there's so many sermons in this movie.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like almost more than Superman. Superman was like made for churches to do sermons about it.
Right.
And they like had got theologians and pastors to help write parts of the story, which is kind of weird, or at least like ideas behind the story. So this movie has a lot of theological or things that you can kind of transfer into Christian theology. And for those listeners who don't know, all of us are born-again Christians. So, we have that worldview of the Bible and of theology. And so it's kind of, we can't help but see things in certain lights sometimes. And that's a good thing. So, I feel like this is almost like Christ, gave himself completely, whereas he could have been the master of the universe because he was God. He became the lowest almost and died at one of the worst deaths and gave of himself willingly to, redeem everything, to redeem all creation and to bring mankind back to the creator. And that's still what we see a lot of these heroes doing is giving all of themselves totally for the benefit of everybody else. And that's true sacrifice. That's really like one of the most intense forms of love right there.
Yeah.
But Thanos is total flip-flop of that.
Yeah.
And, it's just, wow, it's intense. I had a weird, I don't even know how to describe it. I had this weird existential, feeling when I came out of this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's weird. I almost had, a touch of superhero exhaustion.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense, right? There's like a billion heroes.
I can see that.
Half of them die. Then this villain's like the worst villain we've ever had. So I love the movie, and you know, my wife we were kind of in a hurry to get back to the babysitter. We didn't even stay for the end credit scene. I knew I could find it online after it. I know I haven't actually seen it. I know what it was. You know, shame. But the movie was 2 hours and 40 freaking minutes long.
Yeah.
And we had a friend of ours watching all 3 of our Wild and Crazy Kids.
Me.
So she's like, let's just go. We got to go. And so that kind of was sort of like a little threw me off. You know, I was really waiting to look forward to that. So I'm walking out of the theater, and I'm of course instantly thinking about this podcast. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm wringing my hands. I'm like, I can't wait to sit down with my friends and talk about this movie and make an episode about things we liked and didn't like.
Yeah.
And then my brain's like, wait, like, really? Like, is that the best thing you could think of right now in life is talking about things you liked and didn't like about an ultra nerdy superhero movie?
Yes. What else is there?
Yeah.
There's nothing more important than that.
What else is there in life? So I'm like making myself feel bad. It's weird. I don't know. My brain was doing all kinds of things. And we're in a hurry to get home. You know, my wife wasn't too great of a mood just because of other things. And it wasn't my fault.
Oh, man.
There's always 2 sides to the story. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Really?
Nice.
Get her on the podcast. She'll talk about it.
Uh-oh. That would be something.
Yeah.
So all that's going on, and I'm thinking like, you know, like my highlight of my life right now is this movie. It's kind of sad in a sense. And you know, every time these movies come out, the ultra nerds are like they stake their life in this thing. They're like, my life's never gonna be the same after I see this movie, you know. And it's just you gotta keep things in balance. But then at the same time, the scenes in this movie were like really impacting me, thinking about that sacrifice concept. You know, not just like Christian wise, but like also just that idea, the heroes and what they did. And it's just like, wow, you know, I don't know. My brain was doing all kinds of weird things. And part of me was like, I'm okay with not seeing hero movies after this. But then I'm like, what did you just say? What's wrong with you? Who is this talking inside your brain right now? So I don't know. I don't even know what to qualify that as, but it was weird. Maybe that movie just got my brain neurons just going in hyperdrive. Thinking too much, thinking too deep. I don't know. It was interesting. So there's my little pre-life crisis there.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So it's a lot, yeah.
I think you walked away feeling more intense emotions than either of us. That's funny.
Maybe someone snuck some mushrooms into those gummy bears I was eating. I don't know.
You had gummy bears?
Yeah, I did. My wife didn't like the gummy bears that I bought because they were not organic. So she bought the organic ones and I had the bad ones. It's okay. I had all bagged to myself. That was kind of cool. So let's talk about some of our favorite things about this movie. So first of all, let's talk about the comedy. This movie was so funny. There were so many great funny moments. So Angela, what was some of your favorite funny moments?
So hard to pick because there's so many moments that made me bust out laughing in the theater. I think one of my favorites was when the Guardians first met up with Thor while he was still unconscious. And,
Yes.
and what was it? Star-Lord says something like, "Who's this dude?" And Drax is like, "No, this is not a dude. You are a dude.
You're a dude.
This is a man, a muscular, handsome man."
So, and then Gamora's like rubbing his arms.
Yeah.
He's like, his muscles are like fibers of blah, blah, blah. It was so funny.
Yeah, and then Star-Lord's like, "I have muscles." And I forget who said it was a Drax who said, "No, you're one sandwich away from being a fatty," or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's how I feel. That's the story of my life right now.
That made me crack up. And then there was this one other part where one of Thanos' henchmen first came to Earth. I forget his name. Was it Maw or something? And he's talking and doing the villain spiel. And then Tony goes, "You need to get lost, Squidward." And I just died laughing. Like, I did not expect that to come out of Tony's mouth.
That was awesome.
That was great.
Everyone laughed so hard in the theater when that happened. That was so good.
Man. That was amazing.
One weird quick moment that got passed over real quick with 2 of them was when Groot's in the cockpit. It's maybe earlier on, and they ask him a question, and he goes, "I am Groot."
Yeah.
And then like everyone goes language.
I know.
I'm like, whoa, Groot! That was so funny.
Right.
Like, what did he just cussed?
Yeah, he's just being an angsty, sassy teenager now.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's an interesting little way to put him on the back burner, you know, for later. But then Thor like understood it, and they're like, "You understand Groot?" He's like, "Yeah, I took it as an elective, a class, an elective." Like, what? It's so weird.
I thought it was funny when Star-Lord was imitating Thor.
Yeah, that part. That was
great. He did a good job too.
They're like, "What are you doing with your voice?" And he's like, "Nothing. I always sound like this."
I am the captain. Yeah, that was good. Trying to be all manly, trying to stand up to him, trying to like take control of things.
Drax is like, "This is like a pirate had a baby."
With an angel. Like a pirate and an angel had a baby or something.
Yeah,
it was good.
The probably the most cheesy but funny when Gamora and Star-Lord were having a moment and Drax is
that was
he's like,
so random.
He's like, an hour.
He's like, what?
I've mastered the skill of being so impossibly still that nobody can see. And he's like,
yeah,
you're eating a chip. He's like, no, I'm not.
My movements are so slow. Yeah, that was a good laugh. There was another part. It lasts a little too long.
Yeah, that was one of the jokes I felt like, okay, they could have cut it off when he said like he was there for an hour or something.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. Like if it just showed him eating a chip and they both turned their heads and it cut, that would have been really funny too.
Yeah.
Just left it at that.
Right. There was another super funny part that I liked too when they were like the Guardians crew was trying to formulate a plan with Tony about how to fight Thanos. And then Drax suggested that Stark do like his dance off to save the universe.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man was like in Footloose. Quill was like, exactly. Is it still the greatest movie ever made? And Peter goes, it never was. And the look on Quill's face just like, what?
Yeah. 80s junkie. That was really funny.
There was a lot of tips to other movies. He's like, what are you doing on this spaceship? When Spider-Man, he's like, you have an idea? And he's like, okay, what's the scenario to this? And he's like, okay, I have an idea. He's like, have you ever seen the movie Aliens?
Yeah.
I was like,
well, he says, have you ever seen that really old movie?
I love it how he always says that because he did that too before. Have you ever seen this really old movie? Star Wars. Yes, The Empire Strikes Back.
Making all the old heroes feel older.
Yeah.
That was funny. My last one that I liked was when Star-Lord is still trying to kind of be manly and try to impress the crew. He's getting grenades on and he's asking Gamora, hey, which grenades are these? The gas grenades or the blow your junk off kind of grenades? She's like, gas. He's like, okay, cool, because I was gonna put them on my belt right here, and they just like zoomed past that, and that was really funny.
Yeah, I caught
kind
that
of a bathroom
too.
humor joke, but he doesn't want to put junk blowing off grenades on his belt right there.
Yeah. So
he's like, yeah, these are Thanos. Like a grenade's gonna hurt Thanos.
Right. I think there's one other joke that I caught that seemed to go past everyone else's head when Stark called Thanos Grimace.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he told. I think he did, or somebody else did. Maybe it was Star-Lord. I forget. One of them did.
That would be.
I'm like, oh my god, he totally looks like Grimace from the McDonald's stuff. Oh my.
Yeah, lots of good comedy. They're getting a good balance.
I won't say the name because I'm not that type of person. But when what's her name, she's like, "Yeah, we're gonna kick names and take butt."
And Tony was just like staring for like several seconds, like, "Oh my god!"
And then Peter Parker's freaking out when he sees her. He's like, "Don't put your eggs inside of me."
Yeah,
it was good.
So great.
There is, aside from the comedy, there was a lot of things that surprised me. The first one that I did laugh at, but it was a funny, like I didn't see it coming at all, was that Bruce Banner was in the Hulk Smasher suit. That was so great. Wasn't that cool?
That was cool.
I thought it was Iron Man the whole time in those big field fight scenes, and it wasn't even him.
And then he's like, "Oh, come out!" He's like, "No."
Yeah,
so scared of Thanos, he doesn't want to come out again.
Yeah, that was weird. Did he ever, except for the very first scene, did he ever Hulk out?
Nope.
Didn't.
The most Hulk out he did is the entire face. At the beginning, like he's like, "Hulk, come on!" He's like, "No," and it's like half his face, and then later on, it was the whole face. He's like, "Oh, come on, I'll do it myself."
I was really surprised they never dropped any jokes about having performance issues or something like that.
Oh my gosh, they totally would too. Surprised.
I was waiting for it. I was like, dude, they didn't even.
You know what's crazy is that even though the romance that Black Widow and Bruce Banner have, they only really touched on that for like a few seconds at the very beginning.
Super brief.
Whoa.
Yeah, and Falcon, was it Falcon? They was like, this is awkward.
Yeah, this is awkward.
And then I like the part when War Machine, he's like, do we bow? Do we bow? He's like, yeah, you bow. He's a king. And he goes, he's like,
did he not look like super emaciated and tiny?
He did.
Who, War Machine?
What? Is the actor like sick, or did they do that to like part of the story?
Maybe he just got older. I don't know.
Yeah, he did not age well. Like, what happened to that dude?
He hasn't been keeping up with his workouts or something. I don't know.
Because he did get, paralyzed, so maybe they're trying to make him look atrophied.
Oh wait, maybe.
He had like leg assistments earlier on when he's walking with a hologram in the room, because he had the back injury with vision, or someone hit him in the back with something.
That's right. I forgot.
So maybe he has been atrophied or something. But
maybe.
If I'm wrong and the actor just has like cancer, then I'm going to feel like a total jerk.
I don't think
I don't know what the.
I think he just got old. It's awful to say, but maybe you never know.
I was just going to say, pointing out stuff like that. Iron Man had a lot of new features, and then Daniel did call it about the nanobots.
Yeah, I called it. Oh, that was an easy one.
Yeah, no, but like, so you would think it would have been from? Is it from Wakanda, or what do they have?
He didn't make it sound like he was. I think he developed it on his own, but they didn't say for sure.
But then I wonder if he knows the technology, because where did Stark Senior get vibranium from for Cap's shield? So I wonder if,
like a black market thing, maybe.
Probably got it from Claw.
I'm trying to remember if they did hint at Wakanda technology being the nanobots in his chest, because he said that he was keeping that thing on. He said it was a housing for the nanobots to watch out for any stray pieces of metal that may still be in his body. That's what he told Pepper. But really, he's keeping it on so he can be a hero in case he wants to be a hero, I think.
Right, yeah.
But he was sort of playing off like, oh, it's a safety precaution. It's not for the suit. It's for this,
Sure.
So what are some other surprises that really just took you by surprise?
I feel like I've mentioned him already in previous discussion, like with Red Skull.
Yeah, maybe.
Red Skull was the biggest one because I just didn't see her coming whatsoever.
I was reading an article about that, and the guy said that he saw it on opening night. He said that like there was a guy who stood up in the theater and said, "What the F?" at the screen. Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh. I didn't think it was that crazy, but okay.
The level of nerd reached by that individual was very high.
That was crazy.
But he went from Thor hammer to Thor's axe. And I thought that was interesting that they used a star to create the god weapons. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a big surprise for me.
Well, that's always been the legend, is that it came from the heart of a dying star. And I think you did mention it in maybe one of the Thor movies. But they never showed it. They never explained it or showed it. I was surprised that they even showed it. Like, that was epic, man. That was some space opera stuff right there. I like that kind of stuff where there's like super structures in space. And, it's made as Asgardians. We don't have to know how it's made.
Right.
How it works. We don't have to understand that a tiny, small, personal spaceship was able to pull the weight of that entire ring. Just putting it out there.
Where that giant Peter Dinklage dwarf was able to live on that place all by himself with his stone hands, with no food and no way to do anything, really.
Yeah. How does he wipe his butt? He can't live like that.
He abandoned that practice a long time ago.
He made a device for that.
Oh my God. How? With the hands?
Oh, true. Did you guys laugh when it was Peter Dinklage? Like, that was
I didn't see that coming. That was so weird.
I realized it. I was like, what kind of beast-looking giant has such a overly sized head? And I was like, oh crap, my bad. I'm so sorry. You don't know what it is at first, because you see the back of his head and all the way to his feet. I'm like, what the crap is going on?
Just love he's a giant dwarf. Like, that makes sense.
That was cool.
What in the world?
Yeah, I like seeing that reverse of the stereotype.
I mean, I feel bad saying it that way, but like, I had no idea what popped out of nowhere and just like knocked over Thor, hit Rocket, hit Groot. I was just like, what is that? And then all of a sudden I felt really bad when I was like, oh.
That was kind of weird how like he didn't have the handle ready. Like, did he forget about the handle? Where's the handle? The handle.
I guess
you're an idiot.
He just forgot about it, yeah.
And then Groot's wooden arm somehow becomes like celestially strong to support this thing.
He made them a handle.
That's awful.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
Dad joke.
That was a cool visual of him holding up the heads of the axe together, because I was like, oh, he's worthy.
Yeah, finally he does something productive.
Yeah, right. The whole movie. Yeah,
he's growing up now.
Playing nerd.
I did like how Spider-Man got hooked onto the ship, and then Iron Man called out for his suit to come latch onto him. I thought that was pretty cool. He's like, it smells like a new car in here.
And the Robo Spider arms, that was amazing.
That was cool.
I like that. Those are really cool.
Dang. I think that's been in a few comics while they were biological. Like, I remember in the cartoon, he went through some weird phase where he was starting to mutate into a literal like Spider-Man. And one of the
Yeah.
things that happened was I think he had legs come out of his back. I don't remember who did it to him, but and some other comics have showed like robotic suits with that. So that was cool that they brought that into the movie universe. I really like that. They sure came in handy, man.
Right. They
You
saved
know-
him a lot of times.
Mhm.
Did anybody else think where he went and got the stone where he had to sacrifice his stepdaughter? Did it look very Star Wars to you, or was it just me?
Yeah,
Maybe a
kinda
little
did.
bit, yeah. I mean, they're out in
Oh, it kinda
space.
sci-fi
Star
planet.
Wars out
Kind
in
of
space.
threw me off a little bit.
There's that.
You know what I'm confused about actually is what does a soul stone actually do? They've never explained what its power is.
Yeah, I looked it up. So one of the big things that the soul stone does is it collects souls, it desires to collect souls within itself. So that is interesting when you understand that. And maybe they didn't reveal it because it would have given away the weight of the deaths. But I
Yeah.
think the souls are actually inside the soul stone.
Oh my
So yeah, their
gosh.
bodies are destroyed by the reality stone or the power stone or whatever. I guess the reality stone turned them to ash, but their souls were collected into the soul stone, I think. So
That would
I'm
make
leaning on that
sense.
right now. Well, in the comics, Adam Warlock has the yellow soul stone, and he uses it as a portal to go into the soul realm, which is a lot like the celestial plane in Black Panther, where people live there. There's a full world, it's semi-physical, and it's in another dimension, kind of.
Yeah.
But in this dimension, at least in the comic books, everything's kind of red-orange because you're inside this gym, and I don't know what state of existence people have in there, if they know what happened or if they're like enslaved or they're just in nirvana. I don't know. But I think that all the dead souls are in there right now, and once the heroes get the gauntlet, they can release the souls and restore their bodies.
Makes sense.
That's my
I
theory.
guess.
Yeah.
I was
but-
super surprised to see how smart Thanos was.
Yeah,
and you
man.
say when
Yeah.
I like smart, he did the reality stone, and Gamora just jumped up and stabbed him, and I was like, "Well, that was
That
fast."
was intense.
Yeah. That surprised
Ugh.
me too. I'm like, there's no way he could be dead like that. No, what the heck?
The guy next to me, the dude sitting next to me, is like a maybe 18-year-old-ish. I could hear him saying to his dad, he's like, "Cut his head off. Cut his head off." I was like, yeah, they never cut the head off. Just cut the guy's head off. And sure, he's
Well,
dead.
then Thanos said that when Thor stabbed him with the axe, he's like, "You should have went with the head and snapped his fingers."
Yeah, that was intense. What happened to
They
his
never go
glove
for the head.
actually? It looked like it got charred, like really messed up
Yeah.
from that.
It was not doing too well.
No, so it makes me wonder what's up with that because they never really showed anything after that about the glove.
He wasn't wearing the glove in his little farm
Right.
vacation house, I don't think. He hung it up on the wall, his little trophy.
Maybe.
But
It's
yeah,
an alternate
maybe it's
universe.
spent. Maybe the gems are damaged.
Yeah,
I don't know.
could be.
So
Maybe he'll be teaming up with Peter Dinklage, or whatever his name is in the movie, and make another gauntlet. I don't know.
yeah, I'll turn your feet to metal this time.
There was
if you don't
there
make
was a
me.
lot of like, I guess not poetic, but very like, wow, like he's like, "Your life is yours, but your hands are mine."
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of like just wow moments like that with the wording.
Thanos is just an epic kind of guy, He's got to be all
Yeah.
poetic too,
I know.
Yeah,
to support the weight of his delusions.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
and they did the bubble thing twice with when
Yeah.
he went to stab
Yeah,
himself. It was
that's what I'm
bubbles.
saying. He loves his bubbles.
I'm telling you, he's a very smart dude because like that always makes you want to know if Gamora grabbed the knife from him and he realized it, is he switching it from the time she grabs it to stab, or was it like that the whole time?
It was a real knife, and then reality changed the reality of that knife into bubbles
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
Wow.
He can change anything. I thought it was weird how he didn't just like leave Drax dead and leave the others dead after they fell to pieces. Which is
I know.
super
I saw
trippy.
that and I was like, oh my gosh, are they dead now? Because I was freaking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, that whole illusion to that scene was just like, whoa, mind
Yeah.
blown. That was cool. So we're coming close to the end of this episode. So let's talk about the next thing, our favorite action sequences. There were some incredible visual effects, amazing camera switching action, just
Yeah.
chaos happening on screen that I was just eating up, and I want to watch again on slow-mo. My
Yeah.
favorite has got to be my favorite action scene was when they were first overtaking Thanos on Titan. Wasn't that amazing?
That was
everyone
great.
dude, how do they choreograph that stuff? How do they shoot that stuff?
I don't know. It's insane.
Because half of it's fake. I don't even know how they do that.
I know.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see behind the scenes. I hope they do like a behind the scenes video within the DVD that's like 5 hours long because I will watch all
Oh
of
my
it.
gosh.
I want to know how do they make these things happen.
Right.
Yeah, that scene was just awesome teamwork. It was fun. It was like literally stuff coming out of left field, left and right screen that you just didn't think was there. Like, where'd that spaceship come from? I don't even remember. That random shuttle that smashed into him.
That was Nebula's ship, right?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because she popped out like right after that happened, so I assumed it was her ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, ships crash landing, moon falling to the sky. Like, that was insane.
Yeah, it was cool. And then Spider-Man jumping in and out of the portals. Like, what did he say? Something with a kick, something with web.
Yeah, stuff like that.
What is he saying? Like, surprise,
pretty much the same thing like that. And a kick, and a punch, and stuff like that. I don't know for sure.
It was funny. And then Star-Lord's got to ruin everything.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite. My second favorite scene was when Doctor Strange and Thanos were fighting with their crazy cosmic powers. Dude, like he sent like a black hole at him and then like shoot it back. That was just, wow.
He sent butterflies at him and stuff. Yeah. That was funny.
The visuals just were incredible.
I feel like any fight scene with Doctor Strange in it just immediately becomes like twice as good.
Yes. Mind-bendingly awesome.
I know. That's why I love Strange.
I think one of my, I think I just cut somebody off, but I think it got choppy. But I think one of my favorite scenes was at the very beginning when he says, "We have a Hulk," and he comes and starts hitting on Thanos.
Yeah.
And then everybody's gonna do something. He's like, "No, let Thanos have his fun." I was like, "Whoa, like, what are you talking about?"
That one hurt to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what an opening scene to the movie, too. Just start out with that, and he immediately, like, just grounds the Hulk within just, like, a minute. So, you know this movie's not messing around.
I had one issue with that. I thought as more angry the Hulk got, the more stronger he got.
Well, he didn't get time to get angry, really, that much, because the fight ended almost as soon as it began. He didn't really get time to power up or anything.
And, you know, and then that iconic fight between two beasts, then he kills the gatekeeper, and I was like, no.
Yeah, everyone died.
Man. Why didn't Heimdall send everyone back to Earth? He just sent
exactly. That's what I was trying to figure out.
The Hulk.
I guess I don't know.
You know, that would have fixed too many problems. They had to.
Maybe they would have risked like sending Thanos and his Goonies back too if he made a portal too big or something.
And I was thinking too, maybe Heimdall was like, you know, first of all, Hulk's almost dead, but also he's only one stood any kind of chance for a minute with Thanos, so we had to save him. I don't know.
There was a few scenes at the end that were my favorite. I want to know also, like you were saying, how they filmed a lot of that. That was very cool. But one thing I was super surprised is when the gate wasn't open, that you can go underground and come underneath into the part of Wakanda. I was like, they didn't think about that.
I'm surprised they didn't think about that, honestly.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Like, doesn't the force field go underground? I mean, these little aliens can like pop their arm through the shield if they try hard enough. You guys have any other action sequences that really stood out to you?
I like the subway scene with Vision. It was a good way. It was a really cool way to enter Captain America.
There is a scene there where I think one of them at the end says like, "Thanks, Cap," or something like that, and they're kind of face to face, and Captain America just had this look on him. I was just waiting for him to say, "I'm not Captain America anymore," but he didn't say it. I was just like, "Come on, say it." You know, we know you're going through a post-life crisis. You're like 100 years old. America hates you.
What's crazy is you would think the Avengers headquarters, they only showed a little bit of it, and I was super surprised.
They did?
Yeah, when Captain America gets Vision and what's your name, they take him back, and then that's when they meet War Machine. War Machine's having the meeting with the holograms.
Oh, that's where that is at? I thought that was like a military place.
That's the Avenger headquarters.
Yeah.
I think they bring it up, I think in Civil War, or maybe the movie before. And they built that
moved
place.
in Spider-Man. It was moved to the new location.
Yeah, there was a lot of tips to other movies, but they really didn't stay there too long there, which is fine because they're moving forward in the storyline, which is cool.
So the end credit scene. What do you guys thoughts about this? What do y'all know about this new character coming in?
I know nothing about Captain Marvel, really. So she better be freaking amazing if she's back up for everything that happened.
I thought it was pretty interesting that a lot of people that were in the theater with me last night when I watched it didn't know what that symbol was on the distress signal.
Yeah, that's the emblem that's on Captain Marvel's chest.
Yeah,
it's like her thing.
No, I mean I know that, but I was just surprised that a lot of people, and you know, like what Angela was saying, she better come with a good 1-2 punch if that's a distress signal.
Like she should be able to hold her own against the Hulk and then some. If she's that powerful. I want to see her fight the Hulk. So yeah, she's not a super popular character in terms of like recent modern superhero stuff? Because obviously she's never been on any show or cartoon that I can think of. If you know comic books, then you'll know of her. But
yeah, I mean, I know
general
who
public
she is.
doesn't.
I just don't know much about her. So, like I'm saying, Nick Fury better have a good reason that she's back up.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's coming from another planet. You guys think that?
Oh, that would make more sense
Yeah.
considering I was thinking that whenever she's introduced in the Avengers, I'm like, they better explain like where she's been this whole time and why she hasn't helped with
jerk.
anything.
Yeah.
That kind of makes it. That's what you just said. There's a scene at the end when is her name Wanda,
hmm
and she jumps down from Vision and she like clears the field, and she's like, "Why was she hiding up there the whole
I
time?"
know, that made me laugh.
That was so funny.
That was great.
And,
White privilege.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
man.
Duh.
so, but you know what was interesting about this movie? I don't know if you're gonna have to re-jog my memory. I don't know, is he dead or has he moved on
Vision?
to a different part of Shield? But the agent, you meet him at the very beginning with Iron Man in 2008.
Oh, Coulson.
I don't know. Is he dead? Is he
He's-
moved on to
Well-
another part of Shield?
He died in the first Avengers movie, but in S.H.I.E.L.D., they bring him back secretly. Either they clone him or they bring him back with alien technology from a Kree body that they have in secret.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't watched S.H.I.E.L.D., but if I remember, I remember that much. Maybe I read it somewhere. I saw the first episode. But yeah, if someone knows a lot about S.H.I.E.L.D., if they can chime in on one of our posts, that'd be awesome. Let us know. Where does Coulson stand right now? I don't know.
Yeah, that was a big question I had because you see Fury, and then you see what's her name from everybody.
How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, it's awful that I saw her in that
Robin.
before I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what is it.
So
Is it
every time I
Maria?
see it, I'm like,
Maria?
she
I forget.
upgraded her job.
Well, in the Captain Marvel movie that's coming out next year in March, Agent Coulson will be in it. That movie is going to be taking place in the 90s,
Huh.
Yeah.
which is interesting. I don't think it'll cross over with the 90s action that happened in Black Panther. It would be kind of cool if they somehow merged the two. But the 90s movie about Captain Marvel is going to be about how her origin, and then also how she becomes a hero of an intergalactic war. So we're bringing in some new big players into the Marvel universe with this movie, and it's going to play out in the rest of the Avengers movies after this.
More
there's
aliens. Yay.
more aliens. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Everyone loves multicolored humanoid aliens.
Right. Exactly.
Aren't they just the best?
We saw Dale and I when we went to see Black Panther. I made a comment how good he was doing, and then to see him in the Infinity War, it was basically like it was like the next movie. I know that, but it was basically like the next scene from Black Panther. Like he did a really good job acting the same way throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They've done a good job of making all these movies so quick because the actors have only aged, so much.
Right.
It really breaks my heart when there's this amazing movie, and there maybe is a trilogy or a sequel, but you can tell because the years that have passed, it's just not how it could have been. If they had made it 1 year each at a time, they really could have told a huge, amazing story and had the actors still look the same age.
Yeah.
So that the aging actor factor is something that really limits a lot of great movie franchises.
The aging actor factor. It's fun to say.
I'm going to coin that. But Marvel has made the most of it by making these movies so quick that, obviously, Robert Downey Jr. looks a little bit older. War Machine looks like 30 years older.
No. Oh my gosh.
Hope he doesn't hear this.
Oh boy.
You're a great actor. We love you in Oceans 11, 12, and 13. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I found out about Captain Marvel is that the comics, I think, started in 1968. The first one where her first line of comics came out. And what the deal is she's this like smart, independent woman. Her name is Carol Danvers, and she's in love with this guy who is an alien, and his name is Marvel. Captain Marvel, actually. See where I'm going with this? And it's fighting another alien who I guess they're like rival aliens. So Marvel, I think, is a Kree, which is like a blue-skinned, pretty powerful alien. And they're fighting some other alien, which might be a Skrull. I don't remember. But this other alien, the villain alien, has this device that makes your imagination become reality. Sounds magical. And he uses it for some dumb reason against these two, against Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel. And something goes wrong. The machine blows up, and they're protecting each other from the explosion, and they're holding each other, or they're like having this embrace. And the machine, doing what it does, it blends the two together. Like it makes her imagination or whatever her desire is come true. And so somehow that equates to her getting his alien powers. And he probably dies. I don't know about that. But she gets powers that way. So she basically gets through magical technology. And of course, it's always an accident related, right? She gets the alien's powers. So, and then she becomes Captain Marvel. So yeah, and I did see a movie image that looked pretty official of she was in the middle, and then I think there's not Agent Coulson. She was in the middle, and then to the left of her was another guy with the same suit. So maybe that's Marvel, and he had a suit on just like hers, which is like a really cool, like slick bodysuit with like the star. The top is like red, and the bottom's like dark blue. So there's another dude next to her with a similar suit. So we'll see if maybe there's someone else aside with her.
Interesting.
But yeah, she's got crazy alien powers. She can like shoot fire blasts from her hands or energy. What? She can fly. She's like Superman.
Sounds cool.
But she can shoot like Iron Man-esque energy from her hands. And she's blonde. So
cool.
So that's exciting. We'll see. So that movie comes out in March, and then Avengers 4 comes out in May. So this is kind of weird. So I kept expecting the next movie to be Avengers Infinity War Part 2. It just kind of made sense, right? This is Part 1.
Yeah.
Although it wasn't called Part 1. It wasn't called Part 1, so I guess they can't do this scheme because they wanted to keep it a secret, which I totally called it on, that there would be a Part 2. But so they're just calling this next one Avengers 4 something. I mean, they can't call it Avengers 4,
they haven't
right?
released an official title yet.
Yeah, so it's just the fourth Avengers movie.
That would be dumb.
Yeah, like they call like Avengers 4 the Infinity Gauntlet, or I don't know, something relevant. But I can't wait.
Yeah, I want the movie now, please, because
yeah,
I need to not feel traumatized about everyone dying. Thanks.
Yeah, I need some therapy. How do you guys think they're going to defeat Thanos? Any guesses?
I don't know. I mean, I wonder if his gauntlet is really messed up, because if it is, I mean, that gives them a bit of hope there.
That'd be good. Mm-hmm.
So
could be. Although they need to get the gauntlet with the stones intact and restore the universe. That's the ultimate thing that I'm predicting. Of course, it's kind of a given.
Yeah.
But I do think they're going to fix everything.
Wouldn't that be messed up if they get the gauntlet, it's broken, and when they mess up, they basically try to bring everything back. And when they do, it rewinds all the way back to Tony Stark being not Iron Man.
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh, no, please, no.
No.
That'd be awful.
We can't take more movies.
It's almost as bad as it being a dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're most likely just going to use all the stones together to restore everything. They could rewind time, but I don't know. That still leaves, Thanos in existence. So.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder what Captain America was sitting on the ground and he's like, oh my. And then they cut the scene and they go to Thanos walking and looking at the sunset. Like, what did Captain America realize? What did he see? That kind of stuff.
Everyone's dead. That's what I assumed at the time. I don't know. Would it be anything more than that?
Alternate universe, and he's walking up to himself.
That would be messed up.
I just took a leap.
Okay.
Someone told me that in one of the cartoons, there is an Infinity Gauntlet line of episodes. And the way that they defeat him is that each stone kind of gets faced off against a hero, or rather, Thanos uses one stone against all of them, and they're each able to battle against a stone in a sense. So, like the time stone, you're trying to fast forward time to kill everybody, but I don't know if it only affects Thor or whatever. But Thor says, like, I'm an Asgardian. The older we get, the more powerful we get. So he kind of, in a sense, defeats that aspect of the gauntlet. And then, like, the Mind Stone is used against, like, Captain America, and he's, like, so resolved, and this and that. So kind of like each stone sort of faces off against someone. I don't know how the Power Stone would be, like Iron Man or something.
Quill just takes it back like he did in Guardians 1.
Yeah. It's just everyone holds hands and...
Yeah.
Dance off.
Cool idea. I don't think they could pull it off in a movie. Might be a little cheesy, or have to just stretch things too much.
Maybe. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I kind of like it when movies leave you with the sense that you don't really know exactly how issues are going to be resolved. So I feel like some unknown element is going to come eventually into play that we have no clue about.
Totally. What was that line where they're fighting? Rocket's fighting with Bucky, and he's like, "How much for the arm?"
Yeah.
He's like, "It's not for sale." He's like, I'll get that arm. was so funny.
It's so great.
Oh man, that is the weirdest like trope and joke to have about someone.
Literally, Bucky just saved Rocket's life.
Yeah.
Like a collector of body parts. It's so funny.
I love that. I'm going to put that on.
That should be a shirt. Well, I think that sums it up for this episode. Not much more we could say, or maybe there's too much we could just keep talking on and on about this movie. But I'm looking forward to seeing it a second time, possibly a third time. Nate, I think we need to do another bro date and go see this movie. There's a lot of action, and I need to let it soak in again and just have that experience all over.
That's so funny.
So yeah, this is I want to say a 5-star for me.
Oh, your rating changed from the beginning of the podcast.
Oh yeah, I'll change it. I'll bump it up to 5 because it gave me existential experience.
How many movies can you say have made that happen?
Well, I mean, Black Panther got me all woke, and now this is all woker. I was. Marvel, what are you doing to me?
It made you use that word that you despise so much.
Yeah, woke. Okay, here we go. So Black Panther got me woke, and Infinity Wars got me shook.
Oh my gosh.
So.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this show. We really appreciate all of these subscriptions you guys are doing on your podcast apps, sharing the posts. It's been great. And remember to go on iTunes and anywhere you can find us and give us a good review. It'll help bump us up and give us a little bit more exposure in the algorithms there. And if you have any comments about this movie, something you love that we missed, or maybe something that you hated, we're okay. We're open to other opinions. You can find any of our social media posts on Instagram or Facebook and comment and let us know what you thought about the movie. We'd love to hear from you guys. So the next episode coming up is going to be a good one. A little bit of a different flavor from this episode. We're going to be talking about spreadsheets. Yeah, you're probably thinking, what? This podcast is variety for visionaries such as us. So we're going to be talking about some business stuff, about starting a small business, running it efficiently, and using free resources such as Google Drive to keep track of some spreadsheets that will really make your life so much easier. If you run any kind of service or business, you're really going to like this next episode. I know it's going to be a good episode, so definitely check that out if you're into anything like that. Well, thank you guys for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Welcome to the Visionary Variety Podcast, where we talk about cool stuff like video, books, films, and technology. So switch on your brain and enjoy the show.
Oh my God.
Were you recording that?
Yeah, I'm recording it, of course. Of course.